Hello and welcome.
Today we're going to be talking about 12 ways to use the controls on your guitar. Wait, shouldn't you be practicing social distancing? Yes, we should, and yes, we are. The videos that you're watching were filmed long before the social distancing measures suggested by many governments. Dan and I were lucky enough to get a load of stuff in the can. So our thoughts go out to everyone who's affected by COVID-19, physically, mentally, financially, any combination of all of that, or indeed in any other way. It's a really weird time for everybody, so rest assured that we're thinking about you, and hopefully that pedal show can provide a little bit of respite and a little bit of distraction while we're all going crazy stuck in our houses. It will be over soon enough. Okay, meantime, get some great tones, play guitar, and we'll see you back to normal, hopefully pretty soon.
Hey guys, welcome to that pedal show. Dan here.
Mick here, hello.
That was fun.
That was fun.
Yeah.
I think you were ably demonstrating how to use the controls on your guitar, Dan.
Indeed I was.
Just imagine if we had 12 such things that we were going to share in today's video.
Imagine.
Okay, the reason we're doing this, twofold. One is, bizarrely, we do get some comments that go, why don't you guys ever use your volume controls? We do, all the time. Secondly, it is surprising how many people don't use these mysterious things that come on most electric guitars. So you've usually got some kind of volume control, and usually, but not always, some kind of tone control. So we're going to run through a bunch of things that, pickup selections, tone control settings, volume control settings. On classic guitars, we're going to use a Telecaster, Stratocaster, a Gibson Les Paul, a Gibson ES335, and some kind of junior today. So we're going to be sticking with classic guitars.
Nice.
Yeah?
So I saw Joe Bonamassa in a video years ago, and he talked briefly about this. But
Wasn't the video that I made, was it, by any chance?
Yes! And you had an amp in the toilet or something.
Yeah,
man. It sounded brilliant.
Yeah, he had a Champ, and I was there with my friend Martin, and we were in like a tiny little dressing room. Can't remember where it was. Bournemouth, I think, of all places, or Portsmouth maybe. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Plymouth, whatever, somewhere on the south coast. And he had a Champ, a vintage Champ in his dressing room, and so we put it in the toilet
and just turned it up
and mic'd it with a big large diaphragm condenser mic about a foot away from it. And it was one of the best blues breaker sounds I've ever heard.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It really did sound great. Yeah, so anyway, he was ably demonstrating a few of these things, and I remember seeing some footage of Danny Gatton on the tone control of his Tele.
Wish I could honk Danny Gatton.
Man. But something I don't do a lot.
Yeah.
If at all.
Yeah, you use volume a lot, don't you?
I use the volume all the time.
Not tone control.
But I want to get better at this.
All right.
And find out.
Well, that's number 2, so...
Oh, okay, cool.
Let's kick off with number 1.
All right.
Number 1 is make your Strat bridge pickup sound a bit fatter. So anyone who's got a vintage style Fender Strat will know that the bridge pickup can be a little bit weak, especially with those in-betweeny gain type sounds.
Right.
Low gain to medium gain, weak. High gain, not so much of a problem.
because everything's compressing anyway.
Still
right?
can be a bit weak, but here you go. So here's the sound of this Fender Strat bridge pickup. Our amps today are Marshall 1987X 50 watt Plexi and the Victory V140, the Super Duchess.
Nearly got that remembered now.
So not super thin. They're both amps got a nice lot of mid-range, but there's a lot of high treble there. So if we kick in a D&M drive, which is currently set to Dan's side, so higher gain and quite a lot of tone on, it will probably sound a bit spiky.
Okay.
Yeah. Totally usable sound. Probably would sit in the mix okay, but it's not exactly fat.
No.
So simplest thing in the world, just roll the tone pot down a bit.
Wow.
It's so incredibly simple, it almost bears not even mentioning. The problem is, of course, on many vintage style Strats, the bridge pickup is not attached to that tone control.
So you've got one volume
Yep.
and two tone controls,
Yep.
but three pickups.
Yes. So on the vintage Strats and modern vintage reissues, this middle pickup is attached to the far tone control, and the neck pickup is attached to this tone control in the traditional wiring.
Right.
Most modern Strats are wired so that this tone control controls these two pickups, or just this pickup, and this one controls either these two or that one, depending on the model. But it's a really simple mod. If you've got a vintage Strat with a 5-way switch, you've just got to move one cable.
So on the vintage models, there's no tone on the bridge normally.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why?
It's odd, isn't it? It's really odd that you would go from muffly to... But then if you think about the amps they were using, they were all overdriving all those old amps.
Right.
Back in the day, because all you'd have was a fairly low power amp. So
Okay.
by the time it's overdriving, you're back on the bridge pickup, you kind of need the treble for the lead.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but as amps got bigger and more powerful, it's almost like you want it the other way around. You
Yeah.
want the tone control on this pickup, but
Yep.
not this one. That's how Matt Schofield does it. So he'll have his tone control on this pickup, but remove it from the neck pickup.
I see Red has got tone control on the bridge, but no tone control on the neck.
There you go.
Right.
So there you go. If you've got a Strat with a tone pot on the bridge pickup, just roll it back a bit. It sounds like the most obvious thing in the world. And then don't be afraid to use it with plenty of gain.
So the massive thing in the tone control is the capacitor value.
Yeah. The original value for Strats was 1. I can never remember whether it's microfarads or picofarads or whatever it is, nanofarads. Anyway, 1. More common is 0.047.
Right.
And then more modern still is 0.022. And the smaller the number, the higher the frequency it rolls off. So if you just want it to roll off that really sparkly stuff at the top, a 0.022 can work really well.
Okay.
And even a 0.0022
Right.
can work. But 0.022 always worked for me.
So in the audio world, generally we deal with microfarads, nanofarads, and picofarads. Now think of it alphabetically. M, N, no O, but P, okay? Microfarads, nanofarads, and picofarads. We generally work in microfarads, okay? So this is the little micrometer symbol, but you'll also see it written UF or MFD. So 1 microfarad equals 1,000 nanofarads, and 1 nanofarad equals 1,000 picofarads. So putting that in context, let's imagine our big capacitor here is 1 microfarad. Our medium capacitor here is 1 nanofarad, and our tiny capacitor here is 1 picofarad. Well, we would have 1,000 of these nanofarads to make up the 1 microfarad capacitor, and then 1,000 picofarad capacitors to make the same value as the 1 nanofarad, which means you would have 1,000,000 picofarads to make the value of 1 microfarad. Back to the room.
If you have a big cap in there, what will happen is you end up taking away a bunch of the mid-range as well. So it can just sound very muffly and honky very quickly. It's a cool sound, but if you just want to take away the really high-end stuff, go for a small value tone capacitor.
Okay. I don't know what the value is in here, but let's find out.
Yep. So we'll do the same thing. So this is make a Tele bridge pickup sound a bit less shrill, number 2.
Sure, okay. So if we...
Sorry.
All right, so this is a very old sort of low wide pickup. So just into the amp sounds... So there's obviously lots of presence there, but the nature of the Tele, there is bottom end in there as well.
Yeah.
But if I was to put the same settings on the D&M drive, that is right in the ear hole, right? So I'll just start moving that down until it fattens up a bit, yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
It ain't rocket science. I think you'll notice it more on this guitar.
Okay. Okay.
It's the most obvious thing in the world, right? But it is amazing how many people I meet who say, oh, I just can't use that guitar. The bridge pickup is too shrill.
Right.
There's a really easy fix.
Wow. Okay.
Really easy fix. Okay, we probably laboured that point too
Feels
much.
like cheating.
That's all right, we're just getting going. Well, of course, the next thing is it depends on what kind of gain sound you're using.
Sure, okay.
So it might be for some overdrive it makes sense and for others it doesn't.
Right.
Anyway, yeah. Okay, next one. We're going to take that to the extreme. Number 3, woman tone. I can't promise a perfect Clapton woman tone.
Okay.
But neck pickup, tone all the way off.
Okay, neck pickup.
Well, let's do both and we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see how we get on. So here's the sound of the 335 neck pickup, just clean. There's a great deal of bottom end.
Right.
So let's turn on the Chupacabra from Mythos, which is kind of a vintagey sounding overdrive pedal on the neck pickup again.
That sounds awesome.
And you hear you've still got that real trebly stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll just roll the neck pickup tone all the way off and see what happens.
Okay.
And I might step on the EP booster as well, but we'll see.
I would have put money on that not working. Because the idea is, like, you know, net pickup, which already has so much bottom end, it's like, well, what's going to happen to all the transients and stuff if you roll all the tone off? That sounded amazing.
It's that sound. I don't know for sure if Clapton was on the, because it originates from Eric Clapton, right? Called woman tone is what they called it, and
Woman.
Let's just try it on the bridge pickup,
Okay.
just for the halibut. So.
It's so fluty.
It's exactly what it is. Fluty.
Wow.
So there'll be plenty of you out there who know that sound and use it, but if you've never tried it, it works on any 2-pickup, Gibson style guitar, but especially Les Pauls and 335s.
What happens if I try it on here?
Okay.
So neck pickup,
Yeah.
all the tone all the way off.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just play it clean, just to see what that sounds like.
All right. Then. Wow! That's awesome!
It's killer, isn't it?
That is awesome! I'd never done that before.
Really?
Never done that before.
I did a few gigs with a Cream tribute band, and it's so satisfying to just use that sound, because you think it would disappear, but because there's still so much mid-range in there. I mean, we have to watch the bass. You heard as I was hitting the strings there. Funnily enough, as you were playing, I could hear the air coming out of the F-hole.
Right.
So there's quite a lot of bass moving. But anyway,
That is killer.
cool. So there you go. Tone controls. We've all been about tone controls. Let's move on to the volume control. Number 4.
Okay. Sorry, quick question. Why do you know why it's called woman tone?
I wouldn't like to. They were different times. And I wouldn't like to speculate.
Okay.
And I hope it doesn't have its roots in gross sexism or anything like that. Maybe because it sounds... I don't know. No, I'm going to stop. In fact, interviewing Carlos Santana on the phone, it usually doesn't take long for him to get into, lead guitar sounding like a beautiful woman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's all about that.
Right.
And the notes sound round like a beautiful woman.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
so I don't know if it's something to do with that. I am speculating.
Okay. I just think woman tone, and I think of the movie So I Married an Ex-Murderer, and he's a poet. He's woman. Whoa, man. Whoa, man. So, anyway.
I think that needs a dusting off, that film.
So good.
Mike
She
Myers.
was a thief.
Mike Myers. Wish we could honk Mike Myers. Okay, so tone control. We've talked a bit about the tone control. We'll come back to it. Number 4, control all of your gain from the guitar.
Yes. So good. Okay.
So this is old school way of doing things. Normally, if you have the amp cranked, this is what you do. We won't have the amp cranked because it's blisteringly loud, but we will simulate that using pedal overdrive.
Yep.
And clean up from there.
Anyone who goes or is lucky enough to go and see Phil X live, he does this extremely well. Amps are cranked. He controls all the gain from here. So what you'll notice is when I turn down the volume on the guitar, I'm actually not reducing the overall volume. I'm reducing the amount of gain and sort of overdrive. So anyway, here we go. So if I use the Chupacabra Abracadabra.
Let's say it. Chupacabra.
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 I'm assuming that's...
Chupacabra.
How do they do it? There's a thing you can do. Hang on.
Here you go. what you need is a load of tremolo for that. Try it.
No, all right.
It's not really fast enough.
No.
That was Chewbacca on a bad day.
There's a... Anyway, right, so here we go. Chupacabra.
Just ever so slightly wavering out of tune there.
Yes,
Daniel.
I know.
We had a colossal restringing session this morning, so apologies for some wavering tuning. All right, I just want to do that same thing on a humbucker guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Made interesting in this guitar, you'll hear a lot about treble bleed mods. This one has a treble bleed of sorts.
Okay.
Which means as you turn the volume down, it doesn't get dark. What can happen on some guitars, especially single coils, it can get very dark as you turn the volume down, which is not ideal. But if your guitar has something called a treble bleed mod, it can stay trebly and present, and this guitar kind of does that. So we'll just do the same thing, but using humbucker instead of single coils.
Okay.
And I'm going to put even more gain on, Dan. How about that?
Yes. Wow.
So much treble bleed in this guitar mod that I was having to turn the volume, to turn the tone pot down
Wow. Okay.
to get rid of some more of it. But, you know, that was an insane amount of gain. The Chupacabra turned all the way up, boosted by an EP boost, crazy amount of gain, and yet down with the humbuckers, it cleaned up really nicely.
Right.
That's old school, isn't it? That's how they did it back in the day.
Great.
Very satisfying way to play.
Yeah. We've done it a lot in the shows before with fuzz, but I think this just shows that, you know, obviously the Chupacabra is fuzzy, but, you know, with the EP booster and... I want to hear it with D&M drive, just with a bit more mid-range
Sure.
tone. So let me just... If you have schwungage... Okay.
The full gamut. Sorry about the tuning. I also flicked on just to the middle position there, rolled in a tiny bit of bass pickup, neck pickup,
Right.
just to fatten it back out again, because this does stay really, really super bright all the way down.
Okay.
Yeah, and of course, if your guitar doesn't have a treble bleed mod, like I used my Strat like this
Yeah.
forever. Actually, when you turn the volume down and you go cleaner, rolling off that top end is really useful in terms of sitting back out of the mix again. So you lose all the sparkly high end, which might not be to your taste. But I think if you understand the difference between having a treble bleed mod and not having one, you can choose which kind of suits your thing a bit better.
I'm not sure if it was original with these guitars, but it had a treble bleed in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like really old. There was a really old sort of capacitor across the lugs, and I just snipped it out. I don't like it.
Yeah, no. I must admit I was struggling. I had the tone pot almost all the way off.
Right.
But it really is a personal preference thing, and it really depends on the kind of sounds you use.
And from guitar to guitar as well.
Yeah, and amp to amp, and how the rest of your rig is kind of balanced out.
So Andy Timmons has treble bleed mods in all of his guitars, and he sounds amazing.
His sound is huge and thick and full of delay and everything all the time anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
So he probably benefits from having that clarity. So again, no, best just what works for you. Seeing as we were talking about the dual pickup thing, number 5 is again a nod back to Clappo. El Clap. Can't honk him, I'm afraid.
El Clapistan.
We can honk Andy Timmons.
Ah, yes, and Simon can honk him.
Simon can honk him.
Yeah.
Simon can honk him. Yeah, that was a satisfying honk. The middle pickup selection.
Yeah.
We'll come back to this on the Tele in a sec. If you didn't know, on a vintage wired style Gibson guitar, and again, apologies if this is oversimplistic, but we may as well state it. These two knobs control the neck pickup. These two control the bridge pickup, right? So for the neck pickup, for example, you have volume, tone. For the bridge pickup, you have volume and tone, which means you can mix them. Now, depending on how your guitar is wired, this will have different results, but this is 50s wiring, what's called 50s wiring, the vintage way that they were wired. And what that means is, if we just go onto the bridge pickup a sec, switch to the middle position at this point. Because that volume is off, you lose everything. And that's not how it is on some Gibsons, but how it is on this. And we will come back to this in a minute, because this is another cool trick. So if the minute you roll any tiny bit of that neck pickup back in, it comes back to life. And it comes back to life pretty quickly. So what we can do is we can set our bridge pickup on full.
Yep.
And we can set our neck pickup and just knock it back a bit.
Okay. Sorry, hear the mid-range in that.
And that becomes all important when we get some lovely business on.
Okay. That's awesome.
Be careful about how much of that I play, but just taking a tiny bit off the neck pickup, you get that honky mid thing.
So, and you haven't touched the tone controls there, they're all the way up.
Not at all. It's just the two. And then if we add even more gain, because, that's the kind of mood we're in today. So it's really, really loud.
That sounds amazing.
Takes the mid out, and if you use that with a crank Marshall and you know, I don't think Eric used a tone bender, but if you did use a tone bender, it just hollows that, so it's not all shrill like the bridge pickup alone, and it's not too dull and fluty like both pickups on.
Right.
With
or the tone
gain.
control all the way down.
It just changes that relationship between the two, and you just get this weird phasey thing that happens. It just sounds really cool.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's
I'm a
really,
big fan
really
of that.
cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I use that on the cream gigs as well. Just kind of sounded a bit more as he should sound.
Man. Okay.
Yeah.
Man, I'm learning so much today. This is great.
Right, so you need a Gibson now,
Yes.
Dan. So we're gonna take that basic 2 pickup thing
Yep.
and use it as a kill switch.
Yep.
Number 6, kill switch on a dual pickup Gibson.
So yeah.
It's such a cool thing. And obviously there are other ways you can do. There are other ways you can mod your guitar to have an actual kill switch put in, but that's how they did it originally.
That's great fun.
One of the pickups off completely, and you just go from the middle position to the other pickup. Right, we're out on a limb a bit here, Dan.
Okay.
I might need to borrow a Telecaster if that's all right.
Yes, of course. I have a selection.
This is the lap steel wah-wah thing.
Oh, okay.
I've never actually tried this. Can I play one of your tellies? Don't mind which. Can I have the maple neck one?
Yes, you can. I was going to suggest that for that shenanigans.
I promise you I've never tried this, so this will be a laugh. All right.
Well, when I saw Danny Gatton and Phil do this,
Yeah, Danny Gatton. Okay, great.
yes, if you could just do exactly what he did, that'd be great.
No worries. Easy peasy.
Did he have his volume and tone swapped around to be able to do this?
Quite possible. I don't know, but it's a
Right.
very common thing to do.
Right.
Sometimes you'll see a telly, either they just swap the knobs around, or sometimes you'll see
Swap
the whole thing.
Yeah.
Simon has that on his.
Does he?
Yeah.
Then maybe Simon should come in and show us how he does it.
Didn't bring my telly.
Ah, I see.
Right, I promise I've actually never tried this before.
Okay, I'm going
I
to
know
give you...
the theory.
Let me give you a little bit of proper slap back.
Yep. Really try not to go
I can't do it.
with my mouth.
Yeah.
I think a compressor would help. We don't have one on the board, but I think that would help you get the kind of the sustain on it. I mean, the pedal steel guys didn't need it. So yeah, literally tone up and down to get like a wah-wah effect when you do your bends.
Okay. In that situation, does it help having a larger value tone capacitor?
Yes.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
That
was
is
a
cool.
There was a reason. So yeah, okay, I think we better leave that one there. Dan, to
Okay,
be honest.
that's great.
And over to you. Similar thing, but instead of manipulating the tone control now, we're going to manipulate the volume control to Swell It Baby.
Oh, okay.
Number
All
8.
right. So I've gone back to the 65 only because it has so much top end and clarity in this thing. It's really cool when you're doing swells. So
I did realise halfway through my bends there that this has 11s on it. Just That's my excuse.
But it sounded great. It's lovely.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, so what I'm going to do with the swells, I'm going to have a couple of delays, right? So we've set up the tape echo. The tape echo has now got a couple of heads in play. So, but I'm going to hit that with the Echoplex from MXR. And if I run the Echoplex into that, we get. Okay.
I feel like I'm in a dub reggae dream.
Yeah. Right. So, if you hear the attack of the note, it's very messy, right? But when I use my volume swells, you get this. So it's the sort of thing if I have the feedback sort of on the edge, not quite into oscillation, and sort of run them into each other, I can just sort of have the chords sort of like blend into each other. So.
Great. So what you're doing there, you're adding effects, because volume swells are one thing, aren't they? And you'll hear country players and all kinds of people use volume swells all the time, but then you're adding the delay as well.
Yeah.
And using the control on the guitar.
And there's one last thing. If I just set this up. Now you would have heard this sound before. If I turn the Chupacabra on and I just sort of pick this in. But if I use my volume, which is always fun.
It was nice towards the end there before you swelled it up with all the, I wanted to buy insurance or watch a banking ad or something. It did sound like the Lloyd's Bank ad, I reckon. So number 9 then, split it thinner.
Oh, yes.
An important distinction, you'll often hear the term coil tap and coil split. And they are two different things. A coil split is where it splits the two coils and you only get one of them.
Okay.
Right?
Right, wow.
So you've got your full-on humbucker, everything turned up to 10.
Yep.
You will know if your guitar has a coil split or a coil tap. It's the claim is often that it makes it sound just like a single coil pickup. It rarely does, actually, but nevertheless, it's a really useful extra thing that you can have as part of any humbucker that has what they call 4-conductor wiring. If there's 4 wires coming off your humbucker, usually it can be wired for a coil split.
Sure.
Yeah, some can't. If it's just 2, they can't. But yeah.
Have you ever heard a split coil that sounds like just like a single coil?
No.
Right.
No, because the magnetic field of the 2 coils and everything.
It's all part of the
Yeah,
thing.
but it definitely takes a step in that direction.
Right.
And if you're that peculiar brand of human that likes to only have one guitar, it can
Okay.
be really good to get versatile. I have used this. I gigged this guitar for many years in my pub band, and I did use the coil split, and I'm not a big fan of coil splits.
Right.
Don't love them.
Right.
But it just to thin it out and get those nice cleany sounds, and then you turn the volume down and it starts really sparkly clean and really lovely. So
Sure.
yeah, the one in this guitar is particularly good, like everything about this guitar.
Yeah, right.
You're up. We've put this one on because Simon revealed a fact to us recently that I kind of half knew, but apparently a great majority of Steve Cropper's guitar work on all those really famous soul records was Tele middle pickup.
Right. Okay.
So what I'd like you to do is play on the neck pickup and the bridge pickup and then go to the middle. It's
Okay.
so simple it almost doesn't warrant doing, but there will be people out there who don't know this.
Sure. And this is something that I rarely use.
Yep.
Until I got this guitar.
No way.
Yep. And this is when I first, I don't know what it is. I've been so keen to get the neck and the bridge to sort of be balanced and all this sort of stuff. When I got this guitar, it was a lot less balanced than red, but the middle position suddenly came alive. Okay,
No way.
so bridge position, neck position. I mean, hear how much quieter the neck is.
Give it a...
But, you know, okay, I mean, it's still beautiful. I still make it work. But then you get this in-between position.
Let me just hear that on the bridge and the neck for contrast.
Right in the ear hole. And then... It is such a great sound but I've had to get, I don't know, it's the right combination of it, yeah.
And I don't know this for a fact, but when I hear that, I feel like I'm hearing James Brown. I feel like I'm hearing so many classic soul rhythm guitar sounds. Now,
Yeah, the soul thing, man. It's just...
I didn't know that. So all the years of playing in cover bands and doing the odd soul track, you know, I'd either be on the neck or the bridge pickup because that's what I use all the time.
Yeah.
On a Strat, but I know it's a different thing on a Strat, but that middle position on a Tele is...
So you hear it and you recognise all those sounds. It's so cool.
Such a cool sound.
I'm so glad I finally found it. You know?
Yeah.
Anyway,
try that if you haven't tried it.
yeah, it's brilliant.
Okay. This is back at the top of the show. We mentioned Joe Bonamassa, and something he told me one day in John Henry's was we were setting up some gear for him to use, and I said to him, "What amp?" He said, "Oh, just anything. It's fine. Hot Rod Deluxe is fine." I'm like, really? Just because I don't associate him with that kind of amp. And he sets it up and he turns on the dirty channel. I'm like, right. I wasn't expecting that. And he said, yeah, it's great. And he kind of cranked the dirty channel. Now, we don't have a Hot Rod Deluxe here, but what he said to me was he very rarely plays with the volumes on 10 on his guitar.
That's amazing.
He's back to like 8 or 7. And, you know, in classic Spinal Tap fashion, only puts it up to 10 when he wants to go over the top. But for the majority of the time, you know, most of us are playing on 10 most of the time. For those of you that don't do that, you already know this. But if you're... The generalization is most of us play on 10 most of the time. But he sets kind of 7 or 8 as his home.
Wow.
And then up and down from there. So we're going to try it. Again, I haven't tried it with this guitar. What we're going to do is set up quite a lot of gain because I think it requires that. And it would be nice to play your Les Paul, Dan.
Have Schwang.
Thank you. Everything on 10.
Okay.
Clean sound to begin with.
Yep.
What I'm expecting is if we turn the gain up, It's going to be loud.
Okay.
What will happen now is it will be almost uncontrollable.
Okay. Wow.
Do you hear how it just tightened up?
Yeah.
And almost got a little bit more fluty?
Yeah.
That was really cool. 'Cause
That's very cool.
If you did that on a Strat, everything would die and go away.
Okay.
You'd get down to 9 and 8, and it would all be gone
I want to try it on this.
because of the the way the pots work.
Okay.
But on this, it just, I don't know, gave the thing poise. Felt like it.
I wonder if that's just a Les Paul specific thing. I don't know.
Bonamassa told me he does it on his Gibsons, so
Right,
I'm
okay.
assuming it works for 335s and other things as well. But
Okay. That's really cool. Really, really cool.
it's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it works on the Tele.
Works, but it's amazing
I think
on
with the
that.
Leicester, it just takes it from almost uncontrollable and kind of full of extra all this histrionic harmonics and stuff, which is great when you want to use that. But if you don't, you just want it tighter and a bit more articulate.
That's wonderful.
That's cool. I'm
Yeah,
really pleased
cool.
that worked. That was a borderline revelation, I would say. Okay, final one. It's ambitiously titled. I have done this at gigs. And it's basically make your junior almost an acoustic.
Okay. I'm enjoying
Number
this.
12. And the way that you achieve this is you just roll the volume and tone down to the point where it sounds super spanky and clean and lovely. So we'll get a little bit of overdrive on. Not exactly an acoustic guitar, but if you had to sit in a mix and strum chords, not bad.
Okay, I want to see if
works
this
on
does
that.
it. That is nuts! Wow.
Spirit of Philex thrown through you there, Dan. I watched it come out.
And run off out the door.
Yeah. All right, there you go. For better or for worse, 12 things that you can do using the controls on your guitar to get different tones and just inspire you in different ways. You know, it doesn't always have to be about the pedal board all the time. There's a huge amount in this and that.
It's really, yeah. Honestly, I've learnt so much today. The whole woman tone thing has blown my mind.
I'm really pleased because here's me assuming that everyone knows this stuff.
Yeah.
And you might know 80% of it. So even if there's just one thing you haven't heard before, that's
I was never really sure what was going on with the tone controls on the Strat.
Yeah.
So that's fascinating.
Well, to be fair, it's different for different Strats as well. So.
But that thing is crazy.
Isn't it great?
Yeah.
I heard it first on a 59 DC, I think it was.
Right.
With the 2 pickups. So the whatever that was a special, whenever they came out, might have been 59, but it was a 50s double cut with the 2 pickups, and somebody did that. And I was like, no way.
That's magic.
Yeah.
Well,
Good.
There you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Also, a massive thank you to our preferred retailers in the UK and Europe is
Anderton's Music of Guildford.
in Surrey.
In Surrey, if
Indeed.
you want. I keep saying Surrey. Nobody cares that it's in Surrey.
Okay.
You know.
And
England, the world,
the universe.
the universe. Galaxy? Is the universe bigger than the galaxy?
Did you used to put that on your letters to Santa?
Yeah.
Just anyway.
There was never any Santa for me, mate.
Okay. And of course, our friends in Australia.
Pedal Empire of Brisbane, Queensland, Australia, the world.
Very good.
Is it universe then or galaxy?
Universe? Galaxy universe.
Apparently they've discovered another 1,000,000 and something galaxies.
Oh, have they?
Something like that.
Brilliant.
It's a big bloody telescope, is all I'm saying.
Also, to anyone that's gone to thatpedalshowstore.com and grabbed T-shirts and hoodies.
New hoodies.
Ah, so warm and lovely.
I know, I'm hot and I've only got a T-shirt on, but Dan is Australian. So.
I am. And yeah, strings and
all that stuff.
and backing tracks and all that stuff at thatpedalshowstore.com. So thank you to everyone that's gone there. That really helps support the show. And of course to our wonderful patrons on Patreon. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Yep. Have a great week, day, and be
Until the
good
next
and
time.
be kind to each other and all that stuff. And we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.